Okay, so in this first section, what I'm going to talk about is your mindset for success, because at the end of the day, everything starts right within yourself. Okay, you can't be successful if you don't think you're going to be successful, or you don't have the right mind frame to become successful. So what I'm going to talk about is kind of break down your current belief systems and reinstill some new beliefs that you need to be thinking all of the time when you are on the path to success. So let's crack on with it. Now, all change must come from within. And there's a quote down there: the only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be. So what I'm going to do is break in some of your old beliefs, and everyone has a belief system. Basically, a belief system is a set of mutual supportive beliefs. It could be religious, political, ideological, or a combination of a few of these things. Now, we all have an ideological way that we view the world. It's just the way it is. And everyone has a belief system which has been built up over the years. Now, think about the belief system that you've currently got at the moment in time. From growing up, that's been passed down from your family, the people that you interact with on a daily basis, your work, the social media, the things that we watch, the things that we like. Everyone has a belief system. Okay, and belief systems can be broken down, reformed, and new beliefs can be learned over time. Now think of people who become new born again Christians, or people who convert to Islam. They may have not known those sorts of things or believed throughout their life, but they were able to break down their old belief system and learn a new belief system to help them achieve what it is that they wanted to achieve. Now, you need to shift your belief system to one that harnesses your true ability for success. And that's what I'm going to attempt to do in this section, is help you shift your mindset from, I can't to a I can. And that's what we're going to do in this next few slides. So here are some common beliefs in society. You may have heard some of them. They may have been said to yourself. I know that I've heard definitely some of these before in my lifetime. You have to go to school and get a degree level education to be successful. Here's another one. To retire rich, you have to work long hours and save every penny. And finally, being an entrepreneur isn't a real occupation. Now, I've heard all of these before, and 100% these statements are not true. Yet 90% of the population may still believe that these are the keys to success. And while you can be successful, deem yourself as successful, getting a job, working hours and stuff like that, there are other ways to still be successful. And people do say, being an entrepreneur isn't a real job. Why do you want to be self-employed? Being an entrepreneur, that's not a real job. Why don't you go be a doctor, a lawyer, or something like that, or a banker? Now, the people who dispel these common beliefs are the people who then go on to create big businesses and generally become successful being an entrepreneur in their own state. Now, this is a fantastic quote that I wanted to put in here, and you will come across these people. There are two types of people who will tell you that you cannot make a difference in this world. Those who are afraid to try, and those who are afraid you will succeed. And like I mentioned, you will come across these people on your path to success. So just be wary of that. Now, let's try and shift your mind to success. Some of the things that you need to be doing to harbour your true ability for success. So the first thing is never give up. Quitting is not an option. So from here onwards, we're practically in a no-quit zone. Okay, we are not quitting no matter what. Things may get difficult. Things are going to go well. Things might not go so well. That's just life. But at the end of the day, we are never going to give up. And you have to harbour that, and they have to distill that in your values to never give up no matter what is happening around you, in business, in life. It's a case of never giving up. Always take action and move towards your goal. Now, you could sit here and you could learn all of this course. Okay, you could go through the whole of this course. You could watch every single YouTube video that I've got. You could watch all and every single piece of content that I've ever put out. But if you do not take action and move towards your goal, you are never going to get anywhere. Okay, if you take no action whatsoever, you've got 100% chance of failing. But if you take action, you've increased your chances by 50% by just taking that initial action. So always take action, okay, and just move towards your goal. Stay away from negativity and the naysayers. Like I mentioned, you're going to come across some people on your path to success that will say, why are you doing that? It doesn't make any sense. Why are you not coming out with us? Why are you always at your computer? Why are you always in your room working on stuff? What are Facebook ads? All these sorts of things you will come across, but please stay away from the negativity as far away as possible and only be around positivity and think positive, and just engage with people who are happy, and supporting you in doing what you want to do. Now, make progress every day, no matter how big or small it may be, even when uncomfortable. And like I said, it goes back to the second point. Always take action and make progress. Now, even if it's small or if it's big, it could be a case of just registering a domain or, uploading a product or finding 2 products but not uploading them yet. It's progress, and I need you to always make progress every single day. And like I said, even when things are uncomfortable, still make progress, no matter even if they are small. Now, you may have heard me said this one in my YouTube videos. I absolutely love this and I swear by it. So stay in your lane. You are your only competition. Now, you may see people who have started the same time as you and are getting fantastic results. You may have seen someone who's been doing this thing, less time than you and still getting better results. It doesn't matter. It does not matter whatsoever. And it's the worst way to bring yourself down is to compare yourself to others. Okay, so what I need you to do is just stay in your lane, focus on being a better you. Better than you were yesterday, better than you were the week before, better than you were the year before. As long as you are being a better person every single day in your business, then you are making progress and you're continuing towards your goal. And finally, no risk, no reward. Risk equals reward. And being an entrepreneur is all about taking risks to enable you to gain a reward. So I need you to get that into your head. So that is helping you shift your mind to success. So I need you to go back over those, and really put them into concept, put them into your head and just live by them day by day. So here is what I want you to do. Go grab yourself a piece of paper. This is you actually taking action right now. This can be your first step in taking action. Go and find a piece of paper, go and find a pen and literally write down these 2 quotes. Okay, I can and will be successful. I will never give up. So this is the first point in taking action. Wherever you're doing right about now, stop the video, pause the video, and go and get a pen, go and get a piece of paper and write those things down. And it's always best to write them down, not in your phone. Write them down physically with a pen and piece of paper because you're more likely to take action when you write things down. Finding your burning desire. What I want to talk about is finding your burning desire now. Now, there's a quote down there. There is a powerful driving force inside every human being that once unleashed can make any vision, dream or desire a reality. And this is 100% true from Anthony Robbins. Now, I want to share with you my personal story, okay? Just to show you guys that things haven't always been rosy, okay? I haven't just got to this point overnight, some people may be in a better position than where I started. Some people might be in a little worse position than where I started, but nevertheless, it was still a journey. And I want to show you guys that, things just didn't happen overnight, and I did have to go through things to get to where I am now, and you will have to, of course, as well. So I grew up in a from a non-privileged background in a small city. Now, I got average grades. I was pretty much a C grade student for pretty much all of my life. Okay, and I just about made it to university. Now, I failed multiple online ventures, from selling hats to gym wear to selling things on eBay, multiple different online businesses that I tried to, get up and running, but 90% of them, well, pretty much until, drop shipping, all of them pretty much failed. I'd made sales, but nothing was ever much a standout. Now, I graduated from university with a degree in business and management. I always wanted to do business because that's where I saw myself. I was, fascinated with business, and that is what I wanted to do, whether it be work for a big company or, do something for my own, which is what I really wanted to do. But nevertheless, I just took business and management because that is what I wanted to do. Now, I didn't like the thought of working a corporate 9 to 5 for, 40 to 50 years and having to go to work, having to ask for time off, and, just working really hard and then retiring on pretty much a basic pension. It wasn't something that attracted me whatsoever. But of course, I had to get a 9 to 5 due to not having no income. You have to start somewhere to go somewhere. So I had to get a 9 to 5 job, and anything. I've worked jobs from being a postman to toilet cleaner to various different marketing roles and all sorts of weird and wonderful jobs, but I had to get a 9 to 5 job. Now, I discovered dropshipping and e-commerce on a forum while browsing at night. I was always looking for ways to make money, and I came across a forum, and some guy was talking about how he made money with dropshipping and selling products online. So what I done was I consumed as much information as I possibly could, and I started my first niche store, got one sale, lost pretty much some money, and closed it down to start a general store so I could test a wider range of products. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the difference between the two, having a niche store or a general store, and my general views on that. But that's what happened. My first store was pretty much a bomb. It didn't really make me any money whatsoever. Then I got fired from my job. Okay, they sat me down, they took me into the room, they said, sorry, we don't need you anymore. And I remember the day like it was yesterday, having to call family, friends to say pretty much, I'm a graduate and I've got no job whatsoever. I'm fired. And it was a day that I will never ever forget in my, until as long as I live, I will never ever forget that day. Now, I was jobless. I had no income whatsoever. So, of course, I had to get another 9 to 5 job. I had to make money somehow. I didn't have Shopify up and running at that point. Like I said, I was a graduate with no job and no income. So I had to go and get a 9 to 5 job, which I did. Then I went back to Shopify, and I was still doing it. So I started testing and started having some small successes. Started getting $100 a day, $200 a day. And that was where things started to, get the ball rolling. Then I started to get better at Facebook ads. I got better at testing products. I got better at finding, winning products. I got better at knowing what my niches were. And over time, I was able to scale up my successes and finally quit my 9 to 5 job. So right about now, I live a laptop lifestyle. I'm able to teach people just like yourself who want to learn, how things work and how e-commerce works from myself, which is fantastic. I get to travel where I want, buy things I like, take days off even if I want to, and just chill out and just have the time, location, freedom. I'm no longer trading my time for money, i.e. having a job. And there's a famous quote from Warren Buffett, I believe it is, that if you spend your life trading your time for money, then unfortunately you will never be rich. And that is just the harsh reality of things. And I've generated over $5.3 million in revenue today and still counting, which that number is probably a little bit higher now, if I'm being perfectly honest. Now, it was at that point that I realized that I never wanted anyone to be able to dictate my life with three simple words. And that was my burning desire. Those three simple words were, "You are fired," or "Sorry, we don't need you anymore." And that's what really inspired me to go out and do something. And sometimes people fear getting a job. People fear losing their job, but me, on the other hand, I actually fear having to get a job, and it's one of the reasons why I work so hard. So how can you find your burning desire? Well, the first thing you need to do is you need to ask yourself this question: why do you want to be successful? Okay, what is it that makes you want to live a better life? Why do you actually want to be successful? What are the reasons you want to change your current situation? What is it that you're living? What is it in your life right now that you do not like? And what are the reasons for you to wanting to go on to do something better? Now, have there been any moments in life that you realize that you are capable and destined for better things? Have you had any epiphanies? Have you just been sat there and thought, what, I can do something better? I don't see myself doing this for the rest of my life. I can do something better. Have there been any moments? What happened? What was you feeling? Where was you? All these sorts of things. So ask yourself, what is it that is your burning desire? Now, here's a tip. Ask yourself why you bought this course. Okay, you've purchased this course. You want to learn more about e-commerce. You want to learn more about Shopify, dropshipping, and all that sort of stuff. Ask yourself why you actually bought the course. Now, do you want more money? Do you want time freedom? Do you want location freedom? Do you want a better lifestyle? Do you want to provide for your family? Do you want to give more to charity? Now, if yes to one of these, again, ask yourself why. Why is it you want more money? To do what? Why is it you want time freedom? To do what? Location freedom, better lifestyle. Ask yourself why again. Now, finding out your burning desire is super important because it's going to become your support system, when things aren't always going your way. That's when your burning desire kicks in and helps you stay motivated and stay on the path to success. Now I want to talk about managing your expectations. And the quote down there, if you really look closely, most overnight successes took a long time. So you need to fall in love with the process. And there's a quote by Michelangelo: if people knew how hard I worked to gain my mastery, it wouldn't seem so wonderful. Michelangelo is an artist. So you need to learn to love the process, and the results will follow. So many people get fixated on the end results, and that's what hinders their process to get those end results. They always focus on the end results. You need to focus on the process. Now, you need to shift your mindset from the outcome to the learning and development opportunity. So remember, throughout this course, you're going to learn a ton of different skills. You're going to learn Facebook adverts. You're going to learn financial management. You're going to learn how to hire a team, how to become a manager, and all these sorts of different, skills that you're going to learn throughout this course. And you need to be focused on and getting excited over the learning and development opportunity rather than, what happens if I don't make any money? Or what happens if I don't make X? Or what happens if this? What happens if I put this store live and, don't make any money? You're going to learn a ton of different information, and that's where you need to be. The results will follow, the results will come, but you need to focus on the process and get excited on the process because you're going to become a better human being learning all of these different skills. Now, always be the student, never be the teacher. Now, I personally may look and seem like a teacher, but believe you me, I always strive to be the student. I am never considering myself as a teacher, as a guru. Yes, I have a ton and wealth of information which I'm passing on to you guys right about now. But nevertheless, I still look after, I still look for information myself. I'm always learning new techniques, new strategies, new everything. How can I be better myself? Because at the end of the day, out there is someone who is always better than yourself. So it's always great to be the student and never be the teacher. So here are some of the raw, uncut truths that I just have to get out of the way, before we dive into anything else in this course, okay? Now, drop shipping is not a get-rich-quick scheme. I'm going to repeat that. Drop shipping is not a get-rich-quick scheme, okay? Things don't happen overnight. Yes, you can hit a great product, and if you get the right product, right offer, right audience, and combined all those three things together, yes, you can have short-term success. You can scale a product overnight, and e-commerce has the opportunity to change people's lives. It's changed my life. But believe you me, it is something that rarely just happens overnight, and do not see it as a get-rich-quick scheme. Now, building your stores and business will require time and effort like every other successful business, okay? Don't think of it just because it's online, things are just going to be easy, or any other business which is out there requires time and effort, and this is no different. So just bear that in mind. Now, you will have to learn new skills. Like I mentioned, you're going to learn how to manage a team. You're going to learn Facebook adverts. You're going to learn about designing, becoming a better marketer. All these sorts of things you're going to learn. And you have to get excited over it, like I've mentioned, which is going to be fantastic. You're going to be able to use these skills throughout the rest of your life. Now, you will experience failures, but they are part of the road to success. If you go back to my story, I failed. My first store absolutely failed, and I lost money on my first store. But nevertheless, I've turned those failures into successes. And remember, without failure, you cannot have success. That is the raw and cut truth. Now, you will need to invest money into testing products, okay? Ideally, $1,000 to $1,200, ideally, plus the more you've got, the better. The more you've got, the more products you can test, of course. And finally, no risk, no reward, like I mentioned before. So referring back to this, what I want you to do is put this somewhere. Hopefully you've wrote those things down now. I can and will be successful, and I will never give up. And I want you to put them where you're going to be working every single day. So if you're going to be on a desk, put it by your desk. If it's going to be in your laptop, put a piece of paper inside your laptop. So every time you open it, you can see it there. Put it in a visual place where you can see it. I can and will be successful, and I will never give up. So setting goals, your roadmap. Setting goals is the first step to turning the invisible into the visible. SMART goals. I'm going to break down what SMART goals actually are, and FTW stands for the win. So SMART goals for the win, and I'm going to break down what SMART actually means, because every single letter means something different. Setting goals is critical to helping you achieve success. They are your roadmap, and if you've just got a dream, that is all well and good and fantastic, but it will stay a dream if you do not have a plan to help you achieve that dream. So you have to have a plan and goals to help you achieve your dreams. So let me break this down for you. S. So the S stands for specific. You have to be specific with your goals. Who? That's yourself. What? When? Where? Why? Be super specific with your goals. Okay. The M is measurable. Make them quantifiable. What metrics, numbers will be used? And a lot of people don't do this. They just say, I want to make, X amount. That's all well and good, but put a time frame on it as well. Achievable. A. Is it realistic? What new skills do you have to achieve? Now, some people may say, okay, yeah, I want to, one of my goals is to climb Mount Everest. That's all well and good, but is it realistic? Okay, you're going to have to learn mountaineering skills. You're going to have to learn how to climb a mountain. So actually be realistic and be achievable in your goals. Are relevant. Is it relevant to your burning desire? What is your burning desire? You want to do something like you've mentioned. You want to be, what is that burning desire? But is your goal relevant, or is it just something that is just complete wash? T, time bound. When will you achieve this by? What day, what year, what week, what day? You have to be very time specific with the goals that you are, putting forward into your plan. Now, setting your SMART goals. I'm going to show you how to set SMART goals. So here's an example. How much money do you want to have generated in 12 months time from this date with e-commerce and drop shipping? Okay, think about that for a second. Now, once you have this number, divide it by 12 to see how much you need to make each month to achieve it. Then, once you have that, divide it by 30 to get how much you need to make per day. And then, of course, finally, what do you need to do to generate that daily amount? Now, here's an example. I'm going to break one down for you. Example, so I want to generate $50,000 in 12 months from this date. I need to make $4,166.66 per month. That means that it's $138.88 per day. Now I will do this by following this course, testing and refining. So I need you to write down your SMART goals. Right. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about in this video is understanding the buying process and customer psychology. And trust me, this is a very valuable video. Okay, when you fully understand how this works and why customers buy and the buying process, is going to turn your marketing upside down. Trust me, you are going to be able to become such a better marketer, and this is going to be, the basis for all of your product descriptions, for helping you write product descriptions and your adverts as well. So once you fully understand this lesson, you will become so much of a better marketer. It's unreal. So let's get into it. Now, the journey to the sale. Don't sell life insurance, sell what life insurance can do. First and foremost, I want to talk about the buying process. Okay, no one likes to be sold to, but everyone likes to buy. Think about it yourself. Okay, when you're down the street and someone comes up to you asking you will you buy this, will you do this, and you don't like it, but everyone loves to buy things. So let's first talk about the process that a customer goes through before actually purchasing a product. So the first thing is awareness. So the customer sees a product through a media channel. Now, whether this be Facebook, website, commercial on TV, Instagram, etc., whatever it may be, awareness is then created. The customer has become aware of that product. Then, of course, there is the consideration process. Now, the customer goes through the consideration process of purchasing the product. And in their head, they're thinking, do they need it? What are the reviews like? What's the price? What status will it bring me if I purchase this product? Do I actually trust this website? Is it secure enough? Is my payment secure? And all these sorts of things. Now, the consideration process is a little bit longer than what people actually think. And I'm going to break it down and show you a visualization of what this whole process looks like so you can really understand it. But basically, from awareness, the customer then goes into consideration. After consideration, of course, there is then the purchase. The customer agrees that the purchase makes sense to them, or is validated for them to actually purchase the product, and then places the order. Then, of course, there's the after sale. So the customer receives the product, and would they use the product? The customer receives the product, then uses the product, and in the back of their head, they're thinking, would they repurchase it? Would they recommend it to a friend? Would they purchase other items from your store? And these are the sorts of things that they have it going through their head once they've purchased it, once they've then got it in their hands and they use the product. So this here is a visualization of the buying process that a customer goes through. And you can see on the left hand side, I've just put a Facebook advert. Now this Facebook advert could be anything like I've mentioned previously, from an Instagram shout out to commercial on TV, whatever it may be. Now there is then awareness from that. So they see the advert on when they're scrolling down their feed, and they become aware to the product or service, whatever it may be. They then click through and land onto the product page. At that point now, they're in consideration mode. So, looking at the product description, what sort of value will they get out of actually purchasing this product? What's the price like? Is there any scarcity? What are the pictures like? What's the price? All these sorts of things that the customer is thinking if or not they're going to actually go ahead and make that purchase. Then if they add the product to their cart, there's a little bit of a buying intent there, but they're still at the consideration process, okay? And then once they get to the initiate checkout, again, they're still at that consideration process. Is there additional fees? What are the shipping times? Do I trust this website? Is there anything to say that, that it's secure? Do I get to pay with PayPal, credit card? All these sorts of things, they're still in the consideration mode. Once they've validated all these things in their head, they then, of course, make the purchase. And then, of course, there's the after sale. Now, going above the purchase, that's when you're going to be building rapport with your customers. So sending them emails, offers, and information and stuff like that, and suggesting them other products, of course, which then, if they do like anything that you suggest to them, they're going to then land back on a product page and go through that consideration process again. So that is a visualization of the buying process. Now I want to talk about understanding customer psychology, and this is so valuable to marketers that it's unreal, okay? The key, no matter what story you tell, make the buyer the hero. Now, why people buy? Every sale has 5 obstacles: no need, no money, no hurry, no desire, no trust. And that's by a guy called Zig Ziglar, very powerful and famous motivational speaker. So humans are very emotional beings, and we buy based on impulse, okay? Now, most purchases are irrational. We buy things based on our wants and not our needs. So think about the things that you've purchased in the last 3 months or so. Did you actually need them? Chances are 9 times out of 10, you probably didn't actually need them. You bought them because you wanted them. And that is how life pretty much works. All of our, purchases that we make, we don't actually need these things. We actually want these things. So many purchases are always irrational. Now, buying decisions are rarely about price. They're always about the value. What benefits do they get out of owning the product? Now, this goes for, like, say, for example, if someone was buying a Rolex watch, okay? It's rarely about the price, because of course if it was about the price, then people wouldn't go ahead and spend $25,000 or pounds or whatever it is on a Rolex watch. It's the value that they get out of purchasing that watch is what makes them buy the watch, okay? Yeah, they may look good, but at the end of the day, when they purchase a Rolex, they're then perceived by society to be at a higher status. People think when they see the person wearing the Rolex, they've got money, they're successful, and this is what society has perceived about the brand Rolex, okay? And that's why people actually buy Rolexes rather than just buying, a £30 Casio, which does exactly the same thing. It just tells the time. It's always about the value and benefit that they get out of that product. Now, here are some companies that are based on the actual value that they get. So Costco, you always can assume that it's they've got the best price. Nordstrom, the best service. Now, Apple, people are gonna disagree with me. If you are an Android, please forgive me, but Apple, the best product. DHL, again, you may disagree with me and may think it's FedEx, but DHL, best reliability in delivering products. BMW, the best performance, and like I mentioned, Rolex, the best quality. Now I want to talk about the psychology behind the sale, okay? The fear of missing out. So what motivates people, the psychology behind the sale? The fear. Fear is a big factor. Fear of missing out, FOMO, is what it's generally abbreviated as. People think I need to get this before I miss out. I need this, otherwise X will happen. And these are the things that you need to be instilling into your product descriptions and adverts, like I mentioned, that fear of them actually missing out if you've got a fantastic offer on. The status. What status will they get, okay, when they own this product? I need this as my friends will think I'm cool, or I need this and people will think if I'm X, if I own this. Same thing goes for the Rolex. People will think I've got money, I'm successful and stuff if I own this Rolex. Again, if you can make your customers feel a certain status when they purchase the product, that's when it's easier to make sales. And of course, the value. What benefits do they gain? This will help my bad back, or this will make my life so much easier. And the value is like if you've got a problem solving product. If you're selling a slicer of a kitchen slicer or something like that, it's going to make someone's life so much easier. It's going to cut down their prep time. They're going to be less stressed, less waste of stuff because they're going to be able to cut finer. These are the sort of things you need to be thinking about when you're writing product descriptions and trying to sell to a cold audience. Now, I want to talk about 6 psychological triggers, and in one of Robert's books proposed it's called The Influence. If you haven't read it, please go and read it. It's a fantastic read. Every human has 6 psychological triggers which makes them buy. First one is we've got reciprocity, we've got commitment and consistency, we've got liking, authority, social proof, and scarcity. So the first one. Now, this triggers is based on you doing something great for free for your customer, so in turn they then return the favor and purchase your product. Now, if someone does you a favor, think about it this way. If someone does you a favor, let's say your friend asks you for a favor, if someone does you a favor, let's say you've asked your friend for a favor, hey man, can you do this for me? And they do it for you. Then if they ask you for a favor, you feel like you have to say yes because you're in debt to them. Okay, they've done something for you, and if they ask you for a favor, you generally feel obliged to do it because you're in debt to them and they've done something for you previously. Now, how does this relate to e-commerce? Well, in e-commerce, you can apply this by giving away free PDFs to your emailing list based on their niche, top 10 cooking recipes, or check out these top 10 chefs or something along those lines. It's just a free PDF or something like that, giving it away. Or you could do a buy one get one free, or a free plus shipping offer. Now, of course, I recommend doing free plus shipping via email and generally not via Facebook ads. It can work, but I stay away from free plus shipping to cold audiences. And then, of course, once you do that and you're building an email list, you can obviously upsell them later on with your full price products. You've gave them away something for free, you've gave them that buy one get one free, or you've gave them a product and they've just paid shipping. Then they feel more obliged to purchase from yourself when you start to sell them on your higher ticket products. Now, the second one, commitment and consistency trigger. Now, this trigger is based on you being consistent with your offers and commitment to your words. Okay, here's an example. I'm not sure where you are in the world, but here in the UK, we have something called Premier Inn hotels. And basically what they offer is if you don't get a good night's sleep, they will refund your money totally free. So you get a free night's stay. Now, subconsciously, people are more inclined to choose Premier Inn, of course, over similar priced hotels because the peace of mind and consistency that they have. Now, in e-commerce, you can do this, okay? You can put these same practices into process. So, in e-commerce, you can implement this by offering money back guarantees, product warranties, making the customer, feel that it's easy for them to return any unwanted products. And once you've got a guarantee in place, it removes that friction, that initial friction that they get from, initially being skeptical of purchasing a product in the first place. Now, another way is if you've got a niche store, you can align yourself to a charity or cause. Again, that is a commitment, and you do see them out there. Every time you make a commitment to donate into, a certain amount of profits to the charity, one that of course is aligned with your niche. So let's say, for example, using a cat niche, you got a cat website, you would donate, a percent of profits to helping rescue cats or something along those lines. Now, the liking trigger. You've heard of people saying this, people buy from people, and it's a powerful trigger that makes us buy. Same thing if you are, recommendations. People like to buy from other people. It's the very same reason celebrities are able to endorse and sell anything due to their fans liking the person and not necessarily the product or the brand. Now, that's why these big, massive companies always, have big celebrities, because at the end of the day, people are attached to the celebrities. People like the celebrities. They don't necessarily like the brand or product, yet they will still purchase the product because their favorite celebrity is seen to be aligned and affiliated with that product or brand. Now, of course, you can't have a celeb endorse your dropshipping general store, okay? But you can develop an internal character and brand story. Now, here's an example. When sending emails, always send from the same person and not just your store name. I personally like to use a female's name, so like Lindsay or Kate or whatever it may be, and always have that person, sending out the emails and building a relationship and making sure that the emails are personal and not just sent from, luckydeals.com. You don't want to send an email from Lucky Deals. You want to make sure it's from an actual person. Now, another way to implement liking into your e-commerce store is by using pictures of people who are like the person you are selling to. Okay. Now, for example, if you're selling a baby toy, try and use pictures or have pictures on your website on that product page of mothers and babies playing with the toy together or the babies themselves. That way, when the consumer goes to the product page, they can see that it's a person like themselves in the same situation. They're using it, they must have fun, and it may be working for myself. If you see someone like yourself, playing and purchasing with the product that you want to buy. Authority trigger. Now, authority trigger is based around being an expert or industry in the field or product that you're selling to. Now, you don't have to be an actual expert or leader. You just need to convince the customer that you are and the product that you're selling is. Now, of course, you can do this by including words in your product descriptions such as recommended by top X. And I've done this many of times before. Or, in your product description, created by industry experts, made from world-class materials. Put these authoritative words into your product descriptions to make it feel like the product is, authority. You are the go-to person in your special niche or in the special, industry that the product is based in. Of course, here's another thing that you can do in your About Us section. Write about how long you've been experts in finding highest quality products at the lowest price. Refer to yourself as industry leaders, market experts. And like I mentioned, all these sorts of authority-based words to put in your descriptions. Social proof. Okay. Now, us humans seek validation from others all of the time. Now, we don't realize it, but for us marketers, it's a powerful way to sell products. Thinking is usually, if it's good enough for X, then it must be good enough for me. And, it goes back to celebrities and stuff like that. If it's good enough for so-and-so, then, hey, it must be good enough for me. You may have personally thought this yourself. Now, People look at reviews, comments, likes, shares to determine how popular or great something must be. And if you just look at Amazon, how many times have you personally went onto Amazon and seen a product that may be a little bit cheaper but hasn't got that many reviews, or one that is a little bit more expensive but it's got all of the reviews? Now, which product do you buy? I know which one I buy. I always go for the one that's a little bit more expensive but has all of the reviews, just to be rest assured. Okay, same thing like TripAdvisor. How many times have you been to a restaurant that's had tons of different reviews, but when you got there it wasn't actually fantastic? It always happens, but we go off it based off if it's good enough for them, then it must be good enough for me. Now, you can implement social proof in many ways. Firstly, of course, there's one way you can run a PPE advert to increase your likes, shares, and comments on a winning ad creative. Now, if you're scrolling down and something has got 1,000 likes on it, 1,000 comments, 1,000 shares, and you run the same product, but the other one's only got like 2 likes, 2 comments, 2 shares, your click-through rate is going to be a lot higher on the product that's got all of the social proof than the one that hasn't. Secondly, you can use reviews on your product page. Now, this is a must, and there's tons of apps, and we're going to talk about this a little bit more when we actually talk about building the actual website. But reviews on your website and on your product page are a major key. Now, finally, here's a little tip that you can do, and that I like to do as well, is you can have create a page on your website called Happy Customers, and literally just use the photos from AliExpress, or if your customers send any in, to create a collage of people who have bought the product that you are selling, and it works super effective. Now, here is the scarcity trigger. Now, this trigger is based on the fear of missing out, like we've mentioned, FOMO. No one likes to miss out on opportunities and miss something that is limited. Now, the example I give is Yeezys. I personally have bought tons of pairs of Yeezy trainers, okay? And generally it is down to the hype. They don't look they look okay, but they're not, overwhelmingly fantastic. But the limited, the notion of it being limited and having to wait in a queue and all these sorts of things makes you want to buy a pair of Yeezy trainers. Now, you can implement scarcity in a number of ways into your marketing. Now, on your ad creative, you can stay on discounts that are time sensitive. So on most of your ad creatives, you can say that any sort of discount that you got, so 50% off, make sure that they are time sensitive. You can also state that the stock is limited, so your customer either buys now or misses out. Now, for example, 50% off for 24 hours only, or the next 100 customers save 50%. Stock is limited, only 40 units left. These are the sorts of scarcity words that you want to be using to help, give that fear of missing out into your customer, so they make the purchase there and then rather than doing it later. Now, on your product page, you can use countdown timers or stock timers to help encourage your customers to make an impulse buy. Some people like countdown timers, other people don't. I have used them, but I don't use countdown timers. I'd rather use kind of like a stock count out rather than the numbers ticking down. Now, like I mentioned, most people buy based on value and not the price. Okay, and remember, sell life insurance. Don't sell life insurance. Sell what life insurance can do. Super powerful. Now, coming up next, I'm going to be talking about general stores and niche stores, the difference between the two, pros and cons, and what I think is best. So I hope you got some value from this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, so what I want to talk about in this video is basically the differences between general or niche stores. There are differences between the two. I do and have tried both and still have both to this day, but I just wanted to explain my personal experiences and what I think you should do and some of the pros and cons and break them down. Right, so a general store or a niche store. Choices are the hinges of destiny. Now you have two choices but one goal, okay? And let me just show you the differences. Now, a general store is a store that is not limited to a certain niche. Now, for example, Selfridges, Barney's, Walmart, Amazon, okay, they're all big, have big departments inside each store, but cater for a wide range of different niches, different products, and different stuff like that. So they sell a wide range of products in different niches, okay? Whereas on the other hand, the other option have is a niche store. Now, as that is a store that is based around a certain niche. So for example, let's say Foot Locker only focuses on trainers. MAC Cosmetics is only beauty products. Movement Watches is a massive Shopify store based around watches. You may have heard of them. And Gymshark, okay, you may have heard of those again. They're on Shopify and they just focus on gym clothing. They generally stick to selling in a certain niche, okay, and although they may sell different types of products, okay, the niche itself is still the same. Now, there's pros and cons of, both of them, having a general store and having a niche store. So I want to break down the pros and cons of each of them so you can understand a little bit more. Now, with a general store, okay, it's easier to get started. You do not have to spend time thinking and researching which niche you want to get into. And this is one thing that holds people back so much and makes them just procrastinate so much. Okay, they don't know which niche they want to go into, and they spend so much time researching into, what niche should I go into? Is the audience big enough? Are there enough buyers? What sort of products should I go into? And they don't actually do anything or take any action. So a general store is just super easy, just to knock on and crack on, getting the website live and open, and then worry about testing, the range of products that you can. Now, there's no limits to test. You can test a wider range of products due to no niche restriction. Remember, if you are got a general store, then you can test whatever you like. You can sell basketball stuff with cat stuff, with, pet supplies, with cooking stuff. If you've got a niche store, which is just cats, you can only just test cat products, because if not, it's going to look super weird. Now, you have mass appeal with a general store because you're catering for a wider audience with different products that are easier to sell trending products. You can just jump on a trend without worrying about, any sort of, whether the product fits into your website or not, because the website is just going to be a general store essentially. Now, okay, you've got more room to scale as well. So the wider audiences means you have more room to scale products. So, you're going to be catering for general audiences, and some of these audiences on Facebook could be massive as, millions, 5 million, sometimes 20 and 50 million. So when you do have something that is working, okay, you have much more room to scale, having a general store than having a niche store. And of course, build bigger emailing lists, because you're collecting a lot of emails in different niches, different audiences. You're going to be able to build a bigger emailing list, and you can sell them more products, okay, that they've purchased when you segment it down. And I will talk about email marketing in this course as well. Now, of course, there are some cons of a general store. First and foremost, less repeat customers, okay? Customers are less likely to buy from your store, as most are impulse buys, okay? They're going to be scrolling down on Facebook, see your advert, click through, purchase it. This looks great. This looks fantastic. I need this now. Purchase it. And that is it. Okay, it's very rare that they're going to come back and purchase, another product from your website. But this can still happen, and you can improve on your returning customer rate. And I'm going to show you some ways later on in the course about having email marketing and having a proven back-end system in place to help send out emails and upsell more products, and of course increasing your lifetime value of your customers as well. Now, they're harder to sell your website, okay? General stores are harder to sell if you ever wanted to sell it to another person. There are Shopify Exchange where you can buy, ready-made Shopify stores. A lot of them are all just general stores. So it is very hard for you to sell, not very hard. It's probably harder to sell your general store than having a niche store. and they can be harder to brand. So general stores are harder to brand due to catering for multiple niches. So, you are going to be trying to cater for multiple different people. So people who like basketball, people who like cats, and so on and so on and so on. So you have to have a neutral name and a neutral design, okay, keeping things very neutral, very plain, very and not being so specific with a certain color theme or something like that, just so it's a neutral theme and it's a neutral design, because you're catering for a whole host of different people. Now, there are pros of a niche store, so let's talk about those. Now, they are easier to brand. You can brand your store and brand's message a lot more easier if you know your niche, okay? Like I said, it can take a long time for you to actually know your niche, or which one you actually want to go into. But once you know what that is, it's pretty easy for you to then brand your message and your store's brand message and what you stand for, your values and stuff like that, once you know what it is. You have long-term saleability. Now, it can be easier for you to sell a niche specific store than a general one, because of course you're going to have a whole massive email list just full of people who like X, whatever X is. And of course you have more repeat customers. Unlike a general store, okay, customers are more likely to come back due to the closer linked affiliation with the niche. Okay, if you've got a cat store, you've got tons of cat products on there, people are more likely to just come back to your website and purchase those cat related products because they've got a strong affiliation with that website and that niche, of course. But of course there's cons of a niche store, so let's talk about those. You're limited on testing. You can only sell products that fit your chosen niche. Like I said, if you've got a cat store, you can't then go and sell cooking stuff because it's just going to look super weird and stick out like a sore thumb. It's not going to fit your brand. So you only have to then go out and find cat related products. And of course, if there isn't any cat related, well, there will be cat related products, but if there isn't that many winners or so in your cat related niche, then you're going to be limited on the products that you can test, and it can delay your product research time because you're only looking for a certain type of product. It can be longer to set up, and like I mentioned, unless you actually know what your chosen niche is, you can spend valuable time just researching for the right one, for the right niche and the perfect niche, which I've seen happen before to quite a few people. Less room for mass scale. Now, depending of course on your niche, you could be limited to scale. Now, if you choose a small niche, okay, let's say windsurfing or something like that, windsurfing isn't as big as people who like, cooking or basketball, for example. So if you do choose a small niche, then you are going to be limited and you're not really going to get that mass scale. But you can obviously choose a larger niche and sometimes combat that and negate that some way. Now, limited appeal. Your store is only going to be limited. Your store is only going to appeal to people who are within your niche. No one else. That is it. So if you have got a cat store, if you don't own a cat, or you haven't got an interest in cat, then no one is going to purchase from your store. It's as simple as that. Now, here is my personal opinion, okay? I've done both. I have both. So I've been on both sides of the fence and, I have a little bit of experience and just want to try to give you my personal experience on what I think you should do if you're just getting up and running from the beginning. Now, what I suggest you do is start a general store, okay? Start smelling what's selling. And I love this quote. This is what you need to do. They're easier to get up and running, okay? You're not wasting valuable time, and there's no limits on the products that you can test, okay? You may be finding winners in all sorts of different niches and you can use and test them all without taking time, without taking consideration and all these sorts of things into, does it fit my niche, does it fit my website, and so on and so on and so on. Now, over time, you will realize what niches are selling for you. You may find that 3 or 5 niches, you become good at those niches. You start to see what works. You might be selling a product and it becomes a winner. You then find a similar product and think, okay, I know that this interest, that interest, and that interest works well. So let me test this new product to them. And then what you can do is you can then focus more on those niches when you're looking for new products. And like I said, if you have found something that is working previously before, you're going to then know what that audience reacts to, and you can focus more on that. Now, of course, there's still no limit onto what products you can test. So one day you could be, finding products in cooking, and next day, you can start testing products or a winner in, basketball or whatever it may be. There's no limits whatsoever. So my advice, start a general store and start smelling what's selling. Now, coming up next, the next section is all about actually building your store and building a high converting store. So when you're driving traffic, you actually start converting those into customers. So I hope you got some value from this video, and I'll see you in the next section.